Hello, and welcome to the Love Den. Just kidding. But I did try to make the vibe a little bit more sensual today, the way only 20-year-old beige furniture and wood paneling can, because it is my 1-year anniversary of reading romance novels. And in honor of that, I'm going to tier rank all of them. In 12 months, I managed to read 29. Which is not bad. Evie Drake starts over. Evie Drake, Evie Drake. It's one of those and very much not the other, but I don't remember. I'm gonna say B tier. You know, there's nothing like really wrong with it. The Ex-Hex, another excellent book. Probably the best like straight romance I've ever read. It's very like short, fast-paced, fun, sweet, spicy. Like what else could you really want in a romance book? A tier for sure. Hell yeah. Wedding Date, which is one I've read very recently. This one is the first book I've read from Jasmine Guillory, and I believe the first one she wrote, and like it's part of the series. I will read more of her books. I didn't love this one. It was kind of boring and was so minute. Like very much focusing on like the micro level of this like relationship. Also, I didn't like Alex. It was too realistic. He was too much like a real man and not one written by a woman author. I'm gonna put it in C, honestly. Rough. I know. Don't be mad though. I'm gonna read the rest of her books and I'm gonna love them. Okay, then we have one to watch. The other one I read this month and haven't had time to fully unpack, okay? What I will say is that this book hurt me in ways it should not have been able to, and yet it did, okay? In a good way. It was so good. So goddess tier, TBH. Don't worry, we'll unpack it more soon. Oh my god, the Sugar Cookie Sweetheart Swap, or whatever the fuck this book is called. This is one of those like anthologies that are all set in like the same place or like linked in some way. This one was just so bad. It was hard to read. D tier for sure. Okay, let's dig into the work of Emily Henry, meaning the 2 books she's written that are out so far. So I'm a little stuck on these ones because I very much enjoyed like January and the other stuff that was going on in Beach Read, like the rest of the story besides the romance, because I really wasn't a huge fan of Gus, okay? Not my fave. In People We Meet on Vacation, it was the opposite of that. I very much specifically liked the romance itself, okay? Like a 12-year long friendship slow burn, okay? Hello? But I liked Alex much more than I liked Poppy. But this was also the only book that I was genuinely scared of and very much didn't know how it was going to end, which for a book in the romance genre is like an impressive feat, okay? Let's start off with putting them both in A for different reasons, because the differences kind of cancel each other out, I guess. I don't know. Written in the Stars. This one was pretty good. It's sapphic, okay? So it has an edge up on the rest of them for that alone, except for the fact that a lot of the characters were like super boring, to be honest. Sorry. And like it just didn't have that like spark, that thing where I was like really invested in the relationship. It just like wasn't really a holiday book, even though that's kind of what it's marketed as, which is a crime. Like I've come here for the holiday romance vibes and it barely delivered on that. Honestly, C. It's brutal out here, okay? Love and Color, honestly, so good. Add something like so different and new and fun to the romance genre. Highly recommend. Goddess tier, hello. Spoiler alert! Another one I read this month and haven't had a lot of time to parse through my thoughts on yet. I liked so much of it. The wildest thing about this book was honestly the relationship with their parents, given the fact that they both were in a place to afford therapy. You know what I'm saying? I say B. I'm gonna say B. Okay, surprise myself there. Payback's a Witch. This one was very good. Again, sapphic, so it has the edge. The only thing I didn't like about it very much seemed like somebody writing about someone 10 years younger than them, but like believing very firmly that trying to use current language is the way to sell that story. I'm gonna give it a B tier because I liked a lot about it in terms of like the witchy vibes, okay? The like very satisfying plot of it all. I liked where the heart of the story was. I didn't like the way it was expressed. That's the problem we're having. Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. This book did so much interesting stuff in like very short, but like we went through a lot of things that I haven't seen in other romance books. The only thing again is like some of the language around like sex and them wanting to have sex with each other was like a little gendered, a little bit. I don't know. There's something about it that felt a teeny bit off. Also, again, mutual butt stuff. That's always one to know. Let's give it a B. Brown Sisters. Okay, so for Chloe Brown, Honestly, I'm gonna say B tier because I liked a lot about this book, but the more that I think about it, the less I liked Red in particular. And like the third act conflict was kind of a lot. It's a lot. In terms of like Take a Hint, Annie Brown, I really liked this one a lot. Like a lot. I'm gonna say A tier, if not goddess tier. And then Actor A of Each Brown, I'm gonna put in B tier because I liked so much of it up until the third act conflict, which was much more like Chloe Brown. So I feel like that makes sense in terms of a ranking. The Right Swipe. This was really the book that kicked off the category of everything is great except for the way that sex and etc. is described. Namely, this one was so odd to me that like we were talking about penises, we were talking about cocks, we were talking about dicks, okay, all of it, but we were not saying the word vagina or vulva or clit or anything to do with the main character's anatomy. And just the contrast of that was like kind of upsetting, to be honest. Like really now in this time, how dare you? B, I guess? Cottage on Pumpkin and Vine and The Bake Shop at Pumpkin and Spice. These are the most like hallmarky romance books, my god. So they're bad, but in such a fun way. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna Cottage and Pumpkin and Vine, I'm gonna give B at least. Like, it was fun. Like, hello. The Bake Shop and Pumpkin and Spice, I really liked one of the stories, but I didn't like the rest of it. Let's say D tier. Yeah, you can reside in the hell that is the Sugar Cookie Sweetheart Swap. The Kiss Quotient. This falls into the category of books that there's a few of on this list, which is I like everything that's happening in the story. Okay, I love the representation, the relationship, everything that we're working through and like the trajectory, except for the way that desire and like sex is written about in a very like gendered way. Like there's a lot of like my feminine this and my masculine this. I'm gonna say B tier. Just like Heaven. So this is the only historical romance that I've read, specifically Regency era. And there's a reason for that. I didn't really enjoy it that much. Like it was like fun to listen to and like I'm glad I read something within that subgenre because it is like so popular and such a thing. I just kept getting caught up in the like, is this accurate or not? Which like is not the point. That's not the point of reading historical romance. You know what I mean? It's about like the vibe more than anything. But it was, I don't know, especially when people are so like concerned with propriety and spend the whole book being like, oh, it's so improper. And then they just like fuck before they get engaged. And I'm like, all right, okay, that's gonna be a solid C. Now we are just left with the rapid fire Nora Roberts section, okay? So I have 3 different trilogies that we're gonna group all together because at this point I don't think I can really separate them out. So we'll do it in order that I read them in. So the first is the Three Sisters Island trilogy. This book is like, I don't know, near perfection, kind of. The vibes are truly immaculate. Like Nora knows what she's doing, okay? The only issue is that the romances are awful, okay? They're so bad. I'm gonna still say A tier because, I mean, honestly, the romantic relationships are never Nora's strong suit. It's about the friendship, okay? And the chosen family banding together to fight supernatural evil. Second is the Sign of Seven trilogy. This one is different in that the romantic relationships are much better. It's still not amazing, but a lot better. But the vibes are not the same because this book is genuinely kind of scary, okay? It's definitely higher stakes feeling. The third book goes off the rails in a very fun way, but still truly off the rails, okay? I'm still gonna say A tier. Like, listen, the problem is that Nora Roberts books are different because like they're not good romance books. They are comfort reads steeped in atmosphere. And finally, we have the Born In series. And these are goddess tier. These books are perfect except for all the stuff in them that's kind of weird. Not exactly how I thought this was gonna go when I began this whole process. Keep in mind that this is all relative. I don't like dislike any of these books, okay? This is just all in comparison with each other. I did like something about all of them, to be honest. I do have lots of other thoughts about romance books and like the politics of desire, how it can be kind of a weirdly healing experience in some ways to read romance, and like the ways it's just changed my reading habits in general. So stay tuned for more of that if you're interested. But thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye!